Okay, folks. Very good morning.
Good morning.
So yeah, how's everyone today?
Good.
Okay, so we are very glad to launch the startup of this PlugFest programming competition. So I think most of you would have at least seen my email address or my photograph. So glad to see so many people coming on Saturday morning. So I'm Krishnan. So I'm a co-organizer for the Google Developer Group in Singapore. I think you have many. I can see many familiar faces. So what we're doing here is we're just kicking off the PlugFest IPC, which is the International Programming Competition. So as of today, Singapore, Dhaka, which is capital of Bangladesh. Then we have 2 cities in India who are online, who are joined the programming competition. We're also trying to get Malaysian universities inside. So this is going to be truly an ASEAN programming competition.
Hello.
Well, this is where wireless doesn't work, right? So all of us know that. We always have a backup. Okay, so let's get going. So I just want to be very clear on why we are doing this programming competition. So when I say I'm a co-organizer for this programming competition, there is 2 more organizing parties. So one is IEEE Computer Society Singapore chapter, for which the representative is Dr. Chana, he's here. So you can talk to him if you want to become an IEEE member or already a member. The third partner is Code Android Singapore. So unfortunately he cannot make it today. He's right now in I think Shanghai or Beijing trying to convince I believe somebody from China to participate in the competition as well. Okay. So now this programming competition, we did it with very simple goal. We want to try to bring together a lot of people who are interested into developing software. So when you want to develop a software, the most important thing is what we call the data owners, the people who have the problem to solve. Now, here in this particular workshop, we have brought together, I think, 5 government speakers, 5 government agencies, all speakers are here. So they're going to show you the data, what they have. This is called open data. So open data is basically data which the government makes it available to the resident citizens of the country, so that you can take the data and then you can make applications out of it. Then we believe is one silo, which is typically very difficult to reach out to them. Now the other silo is basically the programmers themselves, the people who are writing the software. So here, how many of you can call yourself geek? Like geek as in like even if you know a little bit of programming, it's still okay, right? Can I see a rise of hands? Okay, don't be shy, okay? I know geeks are very shy. It's okay, all of you are, okay? Now, the third group of people is actually people who can do user experience, user interfaces, business development, right? So we want to connect all the dots. So if you look at the PlugFest logo, even the choice of the logo is such that we base the logo off what is a generic PCB. So people from electrical background, you will know that is a printed circuit board. It consists of many silos, but then you need a connection, a pattern to connect it for the current to flow. That's the reason even we created the logo based on that concept, that we want to link the various people in, right? So that's the key thing here. We are here to link you up. So this workshop is about open data. We start with open data. The next week is going to be, next 3 weeks is going to be on various technologies. And our objective is that people who have signed up for this programming competition already, please, we are encouraging you to attend all the 4 workshops. People have not still made the decision yet. By attending the workshops, by meeting your peers here, we believe you will be convinced to participate in this programming competition. This is not a hackathon. You don't need to stay here for 3 days, right? A weekend kind of thing. You can do it on your own time. The competition starts on February 15th, will end on March 15th. The competition closing date for the registration is February 8th. Right? So we are telling you, last workshop will end on February 2nd. So you still have 1 more week after that to do all the decision making and to form your teams. So to make it easy, the ideal category, which targets full-time undergraduate students, you need to be a team competition between 3 to 5 students, right? But we realized that for the open category, it might be difficult to even get 3 people, so we have actually changed the criteria so that even independent developers can participate in the open category. So now the question is, if you are a postgraduate student, a master's student, a PhD student, or maybe not an undergraduate student, but maybe some other categories, and open working professionals, all of you can join in the open category, and remove the condition that you need to have 3 people. You just need 1 person, 2 person, it's still good enough. At the same time, if you have 5 people in the undergraduate criteria, what we encourage you is that try to find 1 more person and compete as 2 teams. By that way, you will have 2 teams competing for the same education organization and institution rather, and you have a better chance at winning the prizes, right? So, and here is the Wi-Fi details. So in case you anyone know, here is the Wi-Fi thing. I hope it still works with all the people connecting here. And if there are Twitter, Google Plus, anything you want, Facebook, please add the hashtags. There are 2 hashtags. One is PlugFest. So PlugFest, we are going to be doing it for 5 years. That's the plan. So we just want to make it the next 5 years, 2012 to 2017. 2012 is basically the financial year. So until by March, we should be done for this year. PlugFest is 1 hashtag. Please combine that with another hashtag 2013. Okay. So with that small introduction, I'll just want to kick off this workshop. Just hold on, Chana. You want to start? Okay. So let me see whether the Hangout is working. Disha, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Okay, can you talk something? Okay, so I have put in into the speakers here. So let me just give an intro about yourself, and you can just take away. So people are able to see you. Your picture is not moving, but I think because of the mobile one, but they'll be able to hear you. Okay. So okay. So guys, we are in a hangout with Lee Xuan. So he is from Google Singapore. Google is also one of our primary supporters here. So he just want to have a few words. So yeah, Lee Xuan, take it away.
So hi everyone, my name is Sorry to join you guys on the really excited. Really, I think this first time it's such a should be really excited about it. Mainly because of its use is around mobile and around the cloud, and because we do that innovation and we do that open for you. Right? It's the best way to get more innovative services out there. Which is why I think you get I did along this so I hope that you guys are very feel excited about it. These wishes is what you can do. People will continue to talk about something exciting. So we do not afraid to new ideas, you challenge yourself, and you have, there are always the humans around, and, really like Krishna, please talk to people, ask us a question tonight, and just at the time.
Okay, are you done? Lee Xuan, are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. So thank you very much, and I'm going to kickstart the workshop here. Okay, bye. Okay, so I think I heard him very well. He's actually on the move, which is not bad. He's using his mobile device over 3G connectivity, and he's trying to talk. So I think what he said was that all the best for your workshop. So that's the short message. So he said something like, IDEA has the data and they're going to be willing to open up the data. This competition is about mobile and cloud technologies. You must use both of them. And Google is interested to see I know what you're going to create out of it, right? So I think with that, let us complete introduction and let's get going into today's workshop. So let me invite the first speaker for the day, who's Arthur Lee. So Arthur Lee is Deputy Director for Data Management and Data Analytics Division. This is a perfect division. So all our speakers here, they have come on a Saturday morning. They're going to stay until at least lunch. We invite you to stay for the evening panel also if you can. But most importantly, what I'm going to do is that after doing this introduction, I'm going to sit here. I'm going to open up a URL. So what URL I'm going to open up, I encourage all of you to do it. There is a URL called data.gov.sg. Open up the URL in your mobile devices. Go take a look at what IDA is offering you. Ask as many questions as you want. Okay? This is the perfect opportunity where the person who has put forward the data, right, is right in front of you. And in this competition, the requirement is that all programming teams, whether you're an individual or team members, must use data from data.gov.sg. So I think you know the condition there, especially people in this room. People competing from overseas, that's a different issue, right? So here in this room, everybody who is going to join PlugFest Asia programming competition must use data from data.gov.sg, right? So if you have any questions, ask the speakers. If you have any suggestions, recommendations, everything, okay? They're not shy, alright? So without much ado, so let us all invite Arthur Lee from IDA to give the first talk.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for coming, and I would like to thank the Google Developer Group for giving us the opportunity today to share with you more about what we're doing in terms of information sharing. And I will be running through some brief slides just to give you a brief intro on data.gov.sg. And following that, then my colleagues from the various government agencies will share you more in depth about the kind of data that they have, and also perhaps how you can use the data to develop useful applications and so on. Yeah. Okay, like what the title of the presentation says is really what we want to achieve is really how to work with developers like yourself to be able to harness the value of government data. So there's this program that was called data.gov.sg that was launched in June 2011. So the key objective of this program is to share the publicly available data that the government agencies have with the general public as well as the private sector, so they can actually make use of them to create useful applications as well as to perform research and analysis and so on. So what we aim to achieve is really to be a first-stop portal. Okay, while you can still download or search for the data from the various government agencies, but what we aim to achieve is really a one-stop shop whereby you can come in and you can see all the publicly available data that the government agencies have for you in order to be able to download and create applications. So I mentioned it was launched in 2011, okay, and was part of the eGov master plan. Okay, I'll try not to bore you with too much of the official details because I think I can see that all of you are a very cool crowd, like that wants to actually see what you can do and work with the data. Okay, so of course it's initiated by the Ministry of Finance and it's a collaboration with all the government agencies within Singapore. Okay, so briefly the objectives are really to provide convenient access for you to create value as well as facilitate research and analysis. So basically we have a two-pronged strategy. What we aim to achieve with this group here today is really to drive the demand for government data. Okay, while we have taken the first step to share data with you, we also need to create the demand for the data so that through the use of data, then we will be able to share more data if required. And also at the same time, we also understand that while we share data as it is right now with you, but we do understand also that there are a lot more data that can be shared, and also data could perhaps be shared in the right format that you can actually make use of to be able to support you better in terms of application development. So it's actually a two-pronged so-called approach. One is from the demand side, and the other is the supply side, which we have taken the first initiative. So if you, like what Krishnan said, you go to the data.gov.sg portal, you realize that there are around 7,500 data sets available for you to download and use. So they come from 57 government agencies. So it comes in various forms. It can be XLS format, CSV, or also we have some data available in the API formats. Okay, but then again, also mentioned earlier, there are some data sets that are still in PDF form. But then again, if you need those data, do let us know so that we can see whether it's possible to provide them to you in much more manageable and easier to use formats. Okay, so there's been quite a lot of interest in the use of government data. So as is right now, from what we understand and what we know, there are actually more than 100 apps that has been developed using government data. Okay, so they range from a whole suite of functionalities from weather, traffic, information, and so on. Right. So we do see that there's actually a demand for such data in terms of what we have, and we hope to actually work more with you to actually spur more of such development. So some examples of apps that's been developed. I think most of you will be familiar with some of these applications that are out there. Okay, one is actually the Parks Live by Nanyang Poly. Right. So basically what they do is that they make use of the data from NParks and use technology like augmented reality and so on to give visitors to the Pasir Ris Park a good user experience, right? Whereby they're able to find amenities, they're able to find where they are and able to know more about the park itself, right? And also there are apps like, most of you will use like Weatherla by Build. Okay, we have a partner here from Build who will be talking more about how they use data later on in the day. Okay. We also have business apps like Show Nearby who are able to use government data to develop applications whereby businesses can use, right, to do marketing campaigns and also for consumers to be able to find things around them. Okay, to support development, we have this resource page in data.gov that actually lists down all the available APIs that you can use. Okay, so all these APIs actually from cover areas like weather, traffic, and so on, right? So whereby you can actually interface it directly into your application to be able to extract so-called the real-time data to support the application development. We have actually launched a few other so-called initiatives to so-called generate such demand. Okay, there was this ideas for apps. I'm not sure how many of you have participated in it, but we received more than 700 over ideas, right, from the general public in terms of how government data can be used and what kind of useful applications that can be developed using government data. So, some of the ideas submitted were like, how to keep track of personal health, right? How to, like, for example, have information about landmarks in Singapore, right? Alert when lightning will strike. Okay, I think Singapore is one of the most lightning-prone areas in the whole world. So there are people who will be interested to know when lightning will perhaps strike somewhere in Singapore. And also there could be some people who are interested to know about energy consumption statistics so that they can better manage their utility bills and so on and so forth. So looking at this in terms of the 700 ideas, so there's a lot of demand and so-called usage scenarios whereby data can be used to develop. Okay, and we do understand that for us we don't have all the ideas, and we know for sure that yourself will have a lot of innovative ideas. We can think out of the box to be able to develop new ideas as well as new applications from what we have at the moment. In addition to what we have for the public, we also engage the businesses. So what I show here is also that not just consumer apps, but there's also a lot of business potential for the use of government data. Right. So we received more than 20 proposals from businesses, enterprises as to how the use of government data can improve their productivity and also perhaps can develop new revenue stream or create new businesses as well as revenue for the companies as well. We also work closely with the polytechnics on their final year projects. Right. So we're engaging some of the IT schools in terms of how the use of government data can be part or a focus area in terms of their final year projects, right? So, again, Parks Live, these are, I'm not sure how many of you from Nanyang Polytechnic. Yeah, so these are, okay, the crowd there. So these are some of the lecturers and your friends, right, who were featured in the papers, right? This is a Parks Live in terms of the application that they've developed using data from National Parks Board. So moving forward, like what Krishan said, you know, this competition is all about using government data. Okay, so one focus area could be how, you know, there could be value from government data for so-called areas of social good, or for in terms of how to provide convenience for the man in the street and so on. So some of the, you know, past so-called projects or applications that have developed, right? This is actually a heat map from this project by MIT Labs, right? So basically it uses data from the taxis, and also look at some of the government data, the weather data and so on and so forth, to be able to plot, you know, some so-called human traffic density, and also where the taxis go to, and so on and so on. So this is a good example of how, you know, if you can mesh up data, different data sets together, then you'll be able to find and unearth new insights. Right. So what the areas we're looking at is really not just for you to use a data set on its own. Right. How you can actually mesh perhaps 5 or 6 data sets together. And by meshing them together, then you'll be able to find new insights and perhaps develop a much more insightful and impactful data sets, rather than leaving them on their own separately. So these are an example of innovative mobile features using government data, like the weather info. Right, they have a crowdsourcing feature whereby you can click and say whether what's the weather like at the location that you're at, right? And also measure about parks life by Lionel Colley as well. So there also could be applications that provide convenience. Okay, so this is the app developed by a local company. They call Book Jetty. Okay, what you can do in Book Jetty is really to be able to search on both the National Library Board as well as Amazon, then to be able to find the books that you want, and from there, then you'll be able to transact or to go down to the library to borrow the books. Okay. Or there could be an app that actually can solve a problem. Okay, so this is an example of a simple app that was developed and launched in Paris. Okay, so basically what they do is provide quick access to emergency numbers as well as the location of facilities such as the nearest hospitals and so on. Right, so this kind of application will be useful for people, you know, in terms of needs as well as emergency. So another possible kind of app could be, you know, providing information in user-friendly manner. Okay, an example of this is really also in France. Right, what they do is that they're able to map what are the so-called handicap facilities and services with location in a particular city. Right, so this will include things like where are the so-called ramps, you know, where are the areas whereby the wheelchair can go through and so on. So all this information is available, you know, from government agencies. So what we need is really for developers to be able to come up with ideas as to how to be able to visualize it and provide application that can actually mesh up all this information and provide it to the consumers and the man on the street or someone who wants to find out more information about such facilities. Okay, finally, let's end off with just a quick summary slide to say that actually there's actually a lot of demand that can be derived from the use of government data. Right, so there are a few areas that that we're looking at. One is really to be able to use data to improve decision making. Right, so this could be through things such as data visualization and so on. Right, so basically, you look at a data set, it's all about numbers. And for those who are non-IT based or IT skills people, you know, they just see numbers and they don't really understand. Right, but if you can make it into an interesting visualization, right, you're able to show charts, you're able to show animation, then you're able to show mapping and so on. So this will make it interesting, and people will be able to see the kind of insights that the data has at a quick glance, rather than they have to analyze it on their own. Okay, you also use data to analyze trends, and also this part about derived data sets is what we're talking about in terms of if you are able to mesh up different data sets to create a much more impactful data set on its own, a superset that actually creates more insights. Right, and finally, is how the apps can actually provide convenience to the people on their everyday lives in terms of what they want in terms of either weather, traffic, and so on. So that's a quick overview of the data.gov.sg program. So if you have any questions, you can is it now or?
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, if you have any questions, ask me now, or you know, if not, we can always be around during lunch. Then we can always interact, and if not, yes.
Three very quick questions. One general question. Who will have access to all the slides that are presented today?
You mean the slides?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll make it available.
Okay.
Right.
Let's see. Second question. You said you had 700 suggestions from members of the public. Do you have access to those?
We have listed down some of the ideas in the data.gov.sg portal, so you can go in there and see. Sorry?
Not all 700.
Yeah, you won't be able to see all 700,
Okay, so I have to find my own ideas.
but we do have a list of
okay.
winners in there.
Another question, you said that the data is varying formats, yeah?
Yes.
Obviously, as an application developer, especially for me, to embed it all into one consistent format, yes?
Yes.
Will I know when you have updated your data in order that I can then pull another copy? Because what I'll be doing is I'll pull your data, I'll convert it, have a local cache, and people will be accessing my local cache. So I need a way to know when you have updated your data.
Okay, for data that's so-called real-time and available APIs, then of course you will know and be able to pull the latest data sets that you have, right?
Okay, so I just query on a regular basis.
Yeah, for those that are on APIs, but if not, then there are data sets that are out there that is regular, updated on the so-called predefined intervals. So those will be able to make known in terms of how often is the updates. Yeah.
And you have absolutely no objection to how many hits there are on your data.
Sorry?
You don't, I mean, we're allowed to access as many times as we want to.
Yes.
We don't have to capture data locally. We can,
Yep.
every time a member of the public wants to access, you just go straight to your data, yeah?
Correct. You can, there's a terms of use that you have to conform to inside there, but basically, you can use it to develop application. And if you notice, you go to the portal, we don't require registration, right? So you can access it, quite easily and so on.
Excellent. Thank you very much, sir.
Like you have those 700 ideas, you have also mentioned about the CFC, call for collaboration.
Yes, correct.
20 proposals were selected, you mentioned.
20 over business proposals were submitted, so we are in the process of evaluating them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is it different from the BA CFC that was recently launched? The business analytics CFC?
Yeah, it's a different focus, because what we're looking at was more in terms of business application that we can use to increase the productivity. So it's a different level from the BA side.
Okay.
Okay guys, one more question? No? Okay, so maybe after I ask you a question.
Okay.
So you said there are so many ideas, you make it available, and then you said about merging the various data sets, right? So
Yes.
do you have some wish list that you wanted the developers to see? Maybe you want to talk about, like, I want to see this happening, I want to see that happening, right? Maybe just tell like one or two ideas right now and let them Google or let them search on their own, more details. So something which you see as very important from your perspective because you are the data owner, right?
Okay, not sure you heard Krishnan's question. He wants to know what's our wish list.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What I mentioned earlier that we have 100 over applications that were developed, right? So what we want to work with the community like yourself is really to go to the next level of application development, right? We want to see more applications that go beyond information sharing, right, or information dissemination. What we hope to work with you on is really, to go more in depth into to see how there could be a certain level of analysis that can be done to the data, right, so that the application that's developed can be better to support so-called decision making. That's one part, right. Another part that we are looking at is really, we know that data sets are very, data is powerful, right, but we also understand about this part about, which I mentioned earlier about derived data sets, right. We know that if you are able to mash up different data sets together, then you'll be able to come up with more insightful ideas or even much more interesting insights. Right, so that's something that we would like to tap your, innovativeness to be able to come together to, put together different data sets that we may not have thought of. Right. So right now, you look at the applications. We do have a lot of applications that mash up, typical data such as, weather, traffic, and location-based. Right. But beyond this, what else can we put together so that the application that's been developed will be much more interesting and the features will be much more rich, in terms of what it can be used to serve. Yeah.
Okay, so
I guess I want to end off to say that we started off this journey in 2011, okay, to share data with you, in terms of overall. But then again, agencies have already been sharing data before that as well. But what we want to achieve together with you is that we understand it's a journey that we can work on together, right? While we have shared the 7,005, we know that there could be more to be shared. And also, one of the things is that, mentioned earlier about how you know whether data is updated or not. So we need to know all this demand and so-called requirements so that we can work with you better to be able to support you in your development. Yeah.
Okay, one final question to you. So you said there are 100 ideas that you make it available, right? I mean, the 100 ideas or something, not the whole, gentleman there asked whether all 700 ideas are available. You said you make it a few ideas of top 100, right? Can our contestants use those ideas in this programming competition? Is there any restriction from your side?
Okay, it's not the top 100, I'm not sure how many. If you have a certain segment of ideas that are listed inside the portal, you can, there's no restriction on the use of the ideas in the application. Yeah.
Alright, so that's good news. So guys, take a look at data.gov.sg. So if you're looking still for inspiration for ideas, he just mentioned that you can use the idea, so you can use the idea, you can develop from that. And as far as competition organizers are concerned, we are okay with any idea you use. As long as no problem. So without further much, let's thank the speaker. Right? Thank you.